Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aspire Sports Show. I'm Tyler, along with Kyle, Giggs, and Ryan, and we're going to be bringing you the best fantasy advice on the market today. On the market, book it. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the chat. Please like, subscribe. We do appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get into it. So, any of you guys want to talk real quick about? I'm going to just answer some questions here on Twitter real quick, but want to talk about anything in particular, maybe like your favorite plays or guys that maybe a lot of people are starting that you disagree with, anything like that?
Is James Conner a trap?
Oh, what do you think, Ryan?
I've never on it. I don't know. That game is just horrible to look at, top to bottom. The Steelers obviously should be up 3 touchdowns by halftime on that team. But like you said, these type of games have funny ways of being like trap type games. That's in Dallas, right? Yeah, you have the
Yeah. I'm
Jerry's
reporting
World in the
live.
background.
Jerry's World.
But yeah, I can kind of see where you're going with that, Gigs. It's not crazy. Like, that's a solid idea. It's not crazy to think that he doesn't put up like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns though. So obviously, I feel like if you have him, you have to play him. But for DFS purposes, I guess he'll probably be pretty chalky and could end up disappointing.
Yeah, because he got the price bump on FanDuel. He's usually someone who hovers in the 7K range. And it's such a juicy matchup. Like, you'd think that game flow would be in their favor.
I'm going to cut you off. Hold on. I'm sorry. You can keep going after this. Should I start CEH, Claypool, or Crowder if he plays at the flex? Who would you go, Giggs?
What were my options? Claypool, Crowder, and who?
CEH.
Clyde.
I'm going to say Claypool. Who would you go, Ryan?
Clyde.
So we got 2 Clydes, 1 Claypool. Who would you go, Kyle? I think I know who he's going to say.
Clyde.
Oh, you tricked me, dude.
No, all right, I don't know. I mean, Claypool could be, but I like Clyde this week.
All right, go ahead and finish what you were saying, Giggs.
No, I just think that, James Conner's price bump, everyone knows that it's a really good matchup. FanDuel knew. That's why he's more expensive. But even at 8,200, it seems like it's almost the obvious play because, like Ryan said, he should be in line to get 100 yards and fall in the end zone at least once, right? So at a running back at that price, you want to get 20 points. I think he can easily get 20 points today, but is he going to get 25 touches, or is he only going to get like 15 and then they work in Benny Snell or someone else? Because I just feel like it's one of those games where they run the ball maybe 35, 40 times, but there's like 3 guys who all do real good in the backfield for him.
Yeah, and if you're looking at it like, obviously this is a team that plays. I was looking at, obviously this is a team that plans on being in the playoffs.
What'd you say, Ryan?
For the Steelers, obviously this is a team that plans on being in the playoffs as far as like workload management for a running back that takes hits all season. If he's their bell cow workhorse, this is a game where you can probably kind of take him out early with a sizable lead and work in these backup guys to get some run as well.
True.
They should be. I will say this though. One thing that does worry me about this game is Pittsburgh, and I'll say it because Pittsburgh I think that this is a different team, but Pittsburgh has always played down to the competition. Even when they went to the Super Bowl, last time they went to the Super Bowl, Green Bay, Buffalo was terrible that year. Buffalo was awful. They went into Buffalo. They should have lost the game in overtime because Stevie Johnson missed a wide open touchdown pass or catch. He dropped it. So I think Pittsburgh should blow them out, but I would not be surprised if this game is close because they just play down to the competition. So I think that would be even better for Connor too because he'd be playing a lot. But I could see it as a trap game certainly. What about any other like plays that you like DFS wise, Gigs?
So at running back, obviously James Conner. Erie Conner's been on my mind. I like him at 8,200 against Dallas. I think a lot of people are going to play Dalvin Cook at 9,300 against Detroit. and I'm talking strictly FanDuel prices right now, folks. If you're paying up, like there's CMC at 9,500, Dalvin Cook 9,300, and Derrick Henry at 8,900. I would go Cook every time. Do you guys agree? Would you take Cook over Henry and CMC today?
Yeah, for that price, I
Yeah,
would stay away from
for sure.
CMC.
Yeah, 'cause
Calvin
I'm pretty
Ridley
sure-
is out.
There it is.
Officially out,
Mm-hmm.
And you
which
know,
we figured.
I'm a big fan of Julio today, and maybe Russell Gage if you're looking at GPP because he should be getting a lot of looks now. He's
Justin
at 50
Pierre-Paul?
on FanDuel. That's not bad.
What would you go, Drew Brees or Daniel Jones?
Oof.
Right, Breeze. With Michael Thomas back,
Yeah.
I like that more than Dandy
Mhm.
Dimes.
Kyle, are you just going on and saying it to everybody? Follow the stream. Any tweet?
I'm replying to their questions sometimes. Yeah.
Well, yeah, just are you replying and then also just saying, hey, we're
Yeah.
live? Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'm just gonna have them. I'm gonna say follow instead of basically doing the same thing. You're like answering every single one, right?
Yeah.
Do you think Antonio Gibson is gonna have a big game today? I think so. I hope so because I'm a fan. I'm a Gibson owner, but I will say this, and I've said it before. Last time they played, they were on a bye last week, the week prior. Gibson got outsnapped by McKissick. So to me, it definitely worries me a little bit is that they're not fully committing to Gibson. Gibson is still splitting carries with McKissick. So I hope a big week, but you're going to have to basically rely on kind of what he did last week to have a big week. And I think it's going to be tough. I think he's going to score like around 10 fantasy points, 12, somewhere in that range. What about you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think I think the Giants defense is kind of really underrated. I mean, they're starting to go on the map a little bit because I think it's just there's been a streaming option because they had some bad matchups. But I really think all in all, this is actually a solid defense. And the Washington offense, obviously Kyle Allen being the quarterback there, he's serviceable, but he's nothing to light the world on fire. So as far as the offense as a whole, I don't love the whole. They're like I said last week. I think it was about him, right? The free Aaron Jones movement was free Antonio Gibson.
Yeah,
I think that's who it
basically.
was. Yeah, because McKissick's there for no reason. You won't understand really why he's there because Gibson can do it all, but he's still there.
Right.
And there's just until Rivera lets it happen, it's not happening.
I agree. I hope they free him. So let's talk about the Detroit game, Gigs. What do you expect for Matthew Stafford? Do you expect them to kind of go out and air it out, or try to get their run game going? Like, what do you think's going to happen in that game?
Is Matt Patricia the head coach still?
I wish he wasn't.
Yeah, I think they're gonna try to run the ball, and it's probably gonna fail miserably, and they'll have to start passing the ball second half if they're down. But honestly, I think Matt Stafford is going to carve them up today because they're missing 3 of their cornerbacks. And even without Galladay, Hawkinson's emerged as an elite tight end, in my opinion. He's pretty reliable. And Marvin Jones
I
is
think he's going
finally
to be a
heating
really good
up.
play today for sure.
Yeah, I like him at 6,000 in FanDuel. Him and Font, everyone. That's who you want to play. But yeah, I think the Lions win this game, to be honest. I know that they're underdogs, and Minnesota, they're better than their record, but I like Detroit's offense against this secondary today. I think they win.
What about the opposite side of the ball, Ryan? What do you expect? Because a lot of questions I see on Twitter are like, do I play Justin Jefferson because of last week? Do you think that I think he only attempted 14 passes or something last week, right? Kirk Cousins, it was something like so low. Do you expect them to try to do the same thing, or do you think they're going to air it out a little bit more?
I think for someone like just looking at it as like a broader view, a running back that has an injury history like
T.Y.
Dalvin Cook
Hilton
does.
inactive.
a running back that has an injury history like Dalvin Cook does, I don't think it would be wise to continue to feed him with the amount of carries that he had last week. I know it was working for him, and so they just gave it to the hot hand. But I feel like at some point you have to switch up and not keep giving a guy like Dalvin Cook however many 30 carry. Do you have 30?
He had 30 carries. I don't know how many receptions he had.
Yeah, so I would think that they go more pass heavy in a game like this. Obviously, it's his stats last week were just unreal, but obviously you can't just predict that to happen again. Nor do I see it happening again against Detroit. So I expect a more pass heavy script. I like Thielen today. Justin Jefferson as well. I'm sure will be a solid play. But yeah, you expect north of probably at least 20 to 25 pass attempts this week.
I hope so. And we have a question in the chat. Do you think Josh Jacobs is going to get a good game, is going to have a good game? I do think so. I think Josh Jacobs really solid play this week. I think he's honestly like a top 5 play this week. So I wouldn't worry about him. Plug and play. He'll be good.
I like
And
Josh Jacobs as well. And real quick, guys, Minnesota actually has the least amount of pass attempts in the NFL this season. I do think they had a bye, so that does kind of say something. But at the same time, they're not a team that's always up, and they kind of lean on the run. So
I hope this game is. I just hope for Justin Jefferson because I like Justin Jefferson. I hope they pass it a little bit more, but they could totally run it because they're just really good at running the ball. So, who would you go, James White or Leonard Fournette? Who would you
Leonard
guys
Fournette.
go?
Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
Would you go Sterling Shepard, DJ Chark, or Hollywood?
Probably Chark, even though they have a rookie quarterback in there. I expect them to play from behind. They're going to be airing it out the whole game, I think.
That's true. I agree with that. What do you think, Ryan?
What was the first one?
Sterling Shepard, DJ Chark, or Hollywood?
I think it's kind of like going back to the thing like this squeaky wheel, whatever that saying is. This is the squeaky wheel gets oiled first or whatever. I don't even know what it is, but
I don't
there's a
even know
saying to
what
go
the
along
saying
with
really
that.
is.
Yeah, but with Hollywood Brown, how he like had that tweet after I think it was last week's game about if you got sold, how you going to say you have soldiers if you ain't even using them?
Right.
I think they probably the dude is like a really offensive weapon in like running the ball, catching the ball deep. So I know they're playing against Indianapolis, but I think they probably try to work him in a little bit more than they have been. So I probably like Hollywood Brown this week.
I agree. I think that's how I kind of feel about this. I think he's going to get more play. I think that they're going to kind of, and he even said something about, or Lamar Jackson came out and said that he needs to get him the ball more. So I think that they're going to make an effort to get them the ball. And let's be honest, the past couple of weeks, they've gotten beat. The Colts cornerbacks have gotten beat. So I think that they honestly are going to air out the ball. And I think he's going to have a good sneaky game here. I really do. I think he's going to be a good play. All right. So let's go into another question here. Any questions in the chat? We do have one. Dalvin Cook. I have Dalvin Cook, but my other running spot, I have Zeke or Dobbins. Who should I play? I'd go Dobbins personally. Ryan, who would you go?
Dobbins.
Giggs, who would you go?
I'd probably go Dobbins at this point, but I don't expect much from either.
I do. Yeah, I'll say, oh, we got another one. Brady or Herbert? Ooh, that's a good one.
Herbert.
I'd say Herbert just because he's hot, but Brady's a really good play too. So who would you go, Ryan?
Herbert.
All right. And then we got a question on Twitter here. We have, with Ridley out, Lindsey, Shepard, Marvin Jones at flex.
Marvin Jones.
Who would you go, Ryan?
Marvin Jones.
I'm going to say Shepard. I'm going to be different. I'm going to say Shepard. All right, we got another
Washington
question.
surprising. Okay.
No, go ahead. It's not
Washington
in the chat.
surprisingly has
Actually,
like
we
a
do
good
have a question
pass
in the chat.
defense.
They
Alright.
do. But so did the Bucks last week, and he had a really good game. Should I go Stafford or Drew Lock this week? Oh, I'll leave that to Giggs. Who should he go?
I like Stafford, even though Drew Lock probably has the better matchup.
I'm gonna say Drew Lock because I think Drew Lock's a top 12 play this week. I like Drew Lock.
Oh,
But I
Stafford's
think
not? Yeah.
no, he is. But I gotta plug
But
Drew
is
Lock
Matt
whenever I
Patricia
can.
still the head coach?
Yeah. That's
True.
true. But
True.
Minnesota's missing
Um,
three of their corners. I'm telling you, that's not good.
no, that isn't good. Ryan, would it influence your decision at all? With the earlier question, he has Dalvin Cook. When we said Zeke or Dobbins, if he has Jonathan Taylor, would you put Jonathan Taylor in there?
No.
Still go Dobbins?
Yeah.
I'd still go Dobbins personally. Antonio Brown or Hollywood? Who would you go, Gigs?
Oh man. Godwin's playing, right?
Yeah.
Is he
They said
officially
probably,
playing?
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't seen. I think he is playing. I haven't seen anything other than that.
I'll go Brown, even though Colts their
Brown.
defense has been solid,
Brown.
but Brown's he's due.
Which Brown?
You said Hollywood Brown? Oh,
Yeah, or Antonio Brown.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
or Antonio.
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
I've heard
Yeah.
conversations though too. The thing with Hollywood that kind of worries me is like, and I think it was NFL analyst saying it is like when things like that happen, and it's kind of like what happened with OBJ, is when these wide receivers start demanding the ball, and you start to force it or game plan around them, it might actually make things worse. So that's something to look at. So and also Lamar Jackson isn't obviously not a true quarterback, so it may even make things even worse. So that's something to keep your eye on with Hollywood. I'm a soldier. Play me, coach. Fucking, that was so stupid. Why would you tweet that right after the game?
All right, we got some more
I don't
questions
get
in the
it.
chat. Amari Cooper or Leonard Fournette? Who would you go? Ryan.
Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
I'm staying away from the Cowboys like completely.
Go
You're cutting out.
Fournette to get.
All right. All right, you're back.
All
What's
right,
the
Gigs. Who would
question?
you go? Cooper or Fournette?
Oof. If it's full PPR, Cooper.
All right, we got another one. Start Brady or Herbert again? Start Brady. We said Herbert. I think everybody was it unanimous. Everyone said Herbert.
I
Herbert.
think so.
go
But
Herbert.
you did say Brady's a solid though.
Is Keenan
Yeah,
Allen
I
out?
think. No,
Mm-mm.
Keenan
Okay.
Allen's
As
officially
long as
playing.
he's playing, I'm on Herbert.
And yeah, and like we say every week, go with your gut, right? You can listen to us. You can go listen to Matthew Berry. Go listen to whoever. Go with your gut. You know, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, whatever. But I think both. I really don't think you can go wrong with either play. Both of them really solid plays. I think just Herbert's really hot right now, so I would just keep rolling with Herbert until he has a bad game, and then start to think, oh, maybe this guy or this guy. But just keep going Herbert. He's playing lights out. All right, so got another question here on Twitter. Who would you start out of these guys? We have Derrick Henry. No, I'm sorry, Justin Jefferson. I was reading the wrong one. Justin Jefferson or Chris Godwin?
Oof.
Who would you go, Ryan?
Gosh, I guess you got Godwin when he plays. I mean, he's been playing well, so I guess you continue with that. It's just murky. I think both situations are kind of murky, so I guess go with the safer one. And I think it's probably, he's coming off injury. I don't know. That's tough. I guess I'll go Godwin, but neither of them. I don't know if that's a clear answer.
No, I think that's fine. Hey, no problem. We appreciate you guys. If you have any more questions, go ahead and ask them in the chat. We're here to answer any questions. We have one. Evans or Devontae Parker? I'm going to say Parker. Gigs, who would you go?
Mike Evans or Parker. I'd go Devontae Parker.
Ryan, who would you go?
Probably I'd go for Devontae Parker.
I agree. Kyle, who would you go?
Parker. Who would you pick, Wayne Gallman or Antonio Gibson?
Gibson.
I agree. That's what I replied.
Gibson all day.
Gibson. Although I do think Gallman is a good play this week. No Freeman. I think he's gonna seem like I think he saw majority of the snaps. Well, he definitely saw the most snaps, most touches, saw goal line work as well. So I think Gibson's a pretty solid play this week. I have Jamison Crowder. Should I still play Hollywood? I would still play Hollywood. Yes. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. We'd appreciate it. Let's go with another question here. Any questions you have, keep firing them off. We'll answer any questions you have. So we got a question here on Twitter. What did you say wow to, Kyle?
Some other channel is trying to reply to my tweets now. I blocked them. Fuck out of here.
So I have seen this question, and I hope if you have Chase Edmonds out there, Chase Edmonds is like a top 3 play this week. Well, I don't want to say top 3, but definitely top 10. I'd say top 5 in my opinion. So if you have Zeke and you're questioning, should I play Zeke or Chase Edmonds? I've seen this a couple times on Twitter. 100% go Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds is the play. All right. Any other questions? Go ahead and fire them off. We have a question here. So Ryan, I'm going to ask you this. First,
Mhm.
flex. We have Moss, Gronk, Ronald Jones, or Chenault. One.
Moss.
And then second, Keenan Allen, Godwin, Cooks, or Lamb.
Keenan Allen.
Allen. I agree. Giggs, do you agree with those?
Keenan Allen.
I'd say
What was it?
Keenan Allen, Godwin, Cooks, or Lamb.
I would go Keenan Allen.
I'd go Keenan Allen as well. I do think Cooks is a really good play this week. If you have Cooks, I think he's a really solid play against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's terrible against the pass, so I think Cooks is a really good play. And also in deeper leagues, if you need a play, I think Randall Cobb will be a pretty solid play this week. It's Trey Herndon in a slot, who Trey Herndon's terrible, so that's a really solid play as well. If in deeper leagues, if you need him. Question in the chat: having trouble with Thrive fantasy apps? Shake my head. I know Thrive. You gotta get your shit together a little bit. It's a little clunky, hey, but they just starting off, so they'll figure it out. But it is a little clunky, I must admit. So hopefully they do figure it out here.
Pick 2 in a half-point PPR. Marvin Jones, DJ Dallas, DJ Moore, Damian Harris.
Read them off one more time. Pick 2.
Marvin Jones, DJ Dallas, DJ Moore, Damian Harris. Pick 2.
First 2 for me.
Yeah.
I'm definitely playing Dallas. Honestly, Dallas is like, in my opinion, a top 10 play this week. Imagine Chris Carson playing against Buffalo. Would you think he's a top 10 play this week? 100% he'd be a top 10 play. Why do people think that DJ Dallas won't be? He saw 23 touches last week, scored twice from the in the red zone. So 100%, in my opinion, he's going to see all the touches once again against a worse defense in Buffalo,
Damian Harris,
especially
or
on the
Ronald
ground.
Jones?
So I think DJ Dallas is 100%. Damian Harris. I don't trust Ronald Jones going
Yeah,
forward.
with
No thanks.
Yeah, and that offense, who knows?
We got a couple chats or a couple questions in the chat as well. I want to play Hollywood, but I have a feeling AB goes off. Me personally, I think all the receiving options are there. I'd give it 1 week just to see what this offense looks with AB. We kind of talked about it. I just think that they try to get Hollywood the ball this week. Flex spot. DJ Moore or Juju? Who would you go, Gigs? DJ Moore or Juju?
DJ Moore.
Who would you go, Ryan?
I'd probably go Juju.
Juju? I think I'd go. That is a tough one. I'd probably go DJ Moore, but I don't really think you can go wrong. Do Dallas? Wait, what is that? Rodriguez. Do Dallas or is it Kirk? Is that where you're going with? I'm not sure. Ask your question. We'll answer it. Any other questions you guys have? Feel free to ask away. All right, here on Twitter. Well, here. Oh, okay. DJ Dallas or Antonio Gibson. Me personally, DJ Dallas. I think he's a top 10. I would play. These are guys that I would play DJ Dallas over. I'd play him over Todd Gurley. I'd play him over Melvin Gordon, David Montgomery. I forget who else I put out on the tweet the other day, but those are guys that I would feel comfortable playing DJ Dallas over. Like that's how in I am on DJ Dallas this week. I think he's a top 10 play, 100%. He will see all the snaps in that backfield. Antonio Gibson will probably see half. So I just think that he's a better play. I hope Antonio Gibson sees more than half, but we'll see. Should I start Dobbins or Moss this week? Gigs, who would you play?
Zach Moss.
Who would you go, Ryan?
Probably Moss. It's slowly happening, phasing Singletary, or at least making him the lead guy and making Singletary like the change of pace type. And it's just slowly getting worse and worse for us Singletary owners.
Yeah, but you at least got him super late.
Yeah. He's
In the
provided
one
good
league.
value so
Who
far.
was your keeper?
Who
Yeah.
you taking to pick 2? Cooks, Patrick, Chark, Schuster.
Cooks and I'd go
Patrick.
Chark. I'm gonna say
Okay.
Timmy. I'm gonna say my boy. No, I wouldn't go Tim Patrick. I'd go Chark and who was the first one? I forget who I
Yeah,
said for the
Cooks.
first one.
Brandon Cooks, I agree.
Who would you guys go?
I'd probably go Cooks and Juju.
Ooh. Gigs, who would you go?
I'm gonna go Cooks and Juju as well.
Ooh.
This guy asked, should he start Kyler or Pat Mahomes this week?
Damn. Yeah, both.
Yeah, that's wild.
Definitely
Is
starting.
this DFS or
Patty
fucking
mode.
season long? My God.
Fantasy, yeah, fantasy. It seems like he's saying fantasy.
Um,
Go
Shit.
Mahomes just because Miami's defense
Yeah,
is actually
that's-
pretty solid.
That's why I was, and they're probably gonna win. I bet Miami wins. To be completely honest, they're
I
really
don't think
good.
so.
The
We'll
Cardinals
see.
are favored by 5.5 in that one.
I like
Hey,
Cardinals.
The Giants were competitive against the Bucks. Anything's possible now these days. And we were
Yeah,
sitting here
the
thinking that
Tyler
game was gonna
Ervin
be a blowout.
play sold me. I want to play a bunch of players, but that took up my flex. Yeah, that I think that just surprised a lot of people. Aaron Jones playing as much as he did and looking as good as he did because he looked really good. So I don't know why he was so questionable going into that. He looked really
Smokescreen.
good. So it was all a smokescreen, yes, because they fooled us. They fooled me, and they fooled basically in the industry, along with the hasty play. What the hell was that? McKinnon looked really good too. That pissed me off because McKinnon looked really good, and I mean Hasty, he doesn't look bad either, but McKinnon played basically all the snaps. So what a smokescreen that was as well. Pog. Hey, what's up, Derek? Yo, what's good, dude? All right. Question. Should I start Tom Brady or Mahomes? My heart says Brady. Aw. Mahomes.
Sorry, Mahomes.
Mahomes, but that's one of those things. If you want to go against us because your heart's telling you something different,
Yeah, go for it.
then good
That-
guy.
and that's your experts are gonna say one person, and that's fine. That's fine, whatever they say. But if you disagree with it, go against it. Nothing. If you want to root for somebody, go root for him. DJ Moore or Juju in the flex. I
We
think
had this.
you guys, yeah, but somebody else, who would you go? DJ Moore? Oh, it's the same guy. We said DJ Moore.
Moore.
Well, I said DJ Moore. They said Ryan
said
says
DJ Moore.
Juju, right?
I said Juju, yeah.
So we're kind of split. So this is a good one. Go with your gut. Whoever you think. If you think one of them, go with it. But I would say DJ. We have somebody else say Juju. Go with your gut.
I'll say
guess-
this: game script probably will favor
ahead.
more than Juju.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. So if that's what you want your deciding factor to be upon, I do think game script will probably favor DJ Moore a little bit more. But hey, Juju's in a perfect matchup, right? Against that Dallas Swiss cheese defense, look terrible. Go ahead. Any other questions in the chat? Go ahead and feel free to ask them. Let's go ahead and continue. Any big player news? I mean, the biggest one has been Ridley's officially out, right? That's what you
Yeah.
said, Kyle? He's officially out. Okay.
Yeah.
And we also have Christian McCaffrey. They said they're going to split series, him and Mike Davis. Now, does that happen the whole game? We'll see. But I did see, I forget what their coach's name is. Is it like
Rule.
Rule or something like that?
Yeah.
Rule, yeah. He said that
Steve?
it was in an interview yesterday that they want to be smart. Yeah, Steve, that they want to be smart with Christian McCaffrey. They don't want to just rush him back. So I do think that they play a little bit smarter this week. And then going forward, it'll just be CMC the whole way through. But this week, if you're a Mike Davis owner and you're desperate, I do think he's a decent play this week. I think he'll see a good amount of work. And Kansas City's bad against the run. So I do think that at least gives him a little bit. Yes. So let's go ahead and keep going with some questions here on Twitter. And I'll go ahead with Gigs here. So well, I guess this not a who, but does Chris Godwin's finger worry you? Have you worried?
Yes, to be honest with you, it's been 1 week or 2 weeks since surgery.
I think just
Not-
one.
Yeah,
Or
if
is it
it's only been
2?
1 week, like that's coming back from surgery pretty quickly. You need your hands to catch football. So I don't expect him to get peppered with targets like he normally would if he was 100%. So I know he's suiting up, but I'm not looking at Godwin as someone who's going to have a high ceiling this week.
I agree. I don't know who to trust out of this passing. If you had to play one, who are you playing?
Like one of the three.
One of the 3 wide receivers.
Oh, Mike
Yeah,
Evans.
who are you playing? Who would you go, Ryan?
I kind of want to go ballsy and say AB.
I don't think it's ball. I honestly, I'd say B. I think Tom
Yeah.
Brady comes out here and tries to make a statement with him, And then AB, I believe in AB, but I just think if you have better options, I would go with one of them. But I could totally see Mike Evans as well. I have no idea what's going to happen. What up? What's up, Joey? Might have missed this, but Stafford or Newton? Ooh, that's a good one. Me personally, I'd go Newton. That's who I would go. Giggs, what about you?
Cam Newton or who?
Stafford.
Oh, I'd go Stafford.
Who would you go, Ryan?
I'd probably go Newton just because I like his floor. I think they're both solid plays, but I just like his floor with the rushing. Plus, it's a bad Jets defense all around. So
Agreed. Kyle,
Jeez.
who would you go? Cam Newton or Stafford?
Probably Stafford. Minnesota's been pretty bad defensively. Des Bryant or Amari Cooper? Ooh.
Des Bryant, is he like active and?
Yeah,
he's
supposed to be
He's active.
playing. I
Really?
just don't
He's
see a
active,
world
yeah.
where he is startable, and either do I see Amari Cooper being. But if you had to start one of them,
I'd go Cooper.
Amari Cooper
I have no
Yeah.
idea how many.
Cooper.
that's an
I have no many. I have no idea how many snaps he's going to play, so I'm not. I don't know. It will be interesting to see him back though. See Dez out there catching some balls, but I think, like
Throwing
I
some
said, I
X's
like
up.
throwing some X's. But yeah. So any other questions in the chat, please feel free to ask. So we got one here: Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, or Marvin Jones on Twitter. Me personally, Steelers fan, but I also think that Deontay Johnson's the best play here, in my opinion. Giggs, who would you go?
I like Deontay Johnson this week, so I'm going to go Johnson.
Ryan, what about you?
And I'm gonna go Marvin Jones for all the reasons Gig said. With all of their
And he's a
cornerbacks being out
Steelers
and
hater.
Stafford healthy, I've literally been saying Juju Smith all morning.
I have
Sure, you
Deontay
have,
Johnson
man.
in my GPP tournament, so I want him to have a huge game. But realistically, I do like Marvin Jones' matchup more probably. It's less crowded, and he's going against a team missing 3 corners. But I literally just finished making a lineup with Johnson in it, so I went Johnson. Sorry, fans. Sorry, listeners.
Justin Herbert or Derek Carr?
Herbie.
Herbert.
Yeah,
Give me
Herbert.
Herbie.
100%. Kyle, what is the hashtag you're using? Is it fantasy football advice or fantasy football?
Hashtag
Are
fantasy
you
studs.
switching back, Kyle?
Fantasy football.
Okay, are you switching back and forth or just staying on one? Because I'll stay
Just
on the
one.
other one.
I'm just staying on
Okay.
fantasy football.
I'll go fantasy football advice. All right. So, what about this? DJ Dallas, Jonathan Taylor, or J.K. Dobbins? Start two. Who do you have?
Dallas and Dobbins.
I agree. What about you, Giggs?
I'm not sold on Dobbins this week. I think the Colts have the best rush defense in the league. So them in
So you go
Tampa.
Taylor over him?
I think so. I like that offensive line, and I mean it's two really good defenses, but
Hmm.
man, that's tough. That's really tough. Dobbins looked good last week. I'll go with you guys. You guys said Dobbins, right?
Yeah, the only reason why I'm going to say Dobbins just because, I mean, like I said, I watched the game last week. He looks like a stud. They came out and they said that they want to get him more involved going forward. I think, I think that if you can trade for Dobbins, I know it's already 12, but I would 1%, because I think just going forward that he's going to be the not the guy, but is going to be much more involved than what he has been. And I just believe in his talent. Like he was so good last week, so good. Like his cuts, his spin moves, everything about him just looked really good. So I like him a lot going forward. Question in the chat. I like Kyle's hat. Hey, is that a Callaway? I play Wilson clubs. What is your handicap? His handicap's about a 5, I think, right,
Yeah,
Kyle?
I think something like that. It's nearing like 3.
Yeah, so he's getting better. He's got a nice swing. But it is a Callaway hat. Yes.
He was a
So
collegiate
let's
golfer.
That is true.
he
I
was.
was a
He
collegiate
was.
athlete. This is true. We only speak
Oh
facts
boy.
here on the Inspire Sports Show, where you can also sign up for Thrive Fantasy. Right to
Go
your
ahead,
right,
just do the plug
Tyler.
real quick.
Thrive
Well,
Fantasy.
you go ahead and
You
say it.
see it? Link is in the description below. It's right to Tyler's right. Use code Aspire when you sign up, and they'll match your first deposit up to $50. I mean, why not? If you're gonna do it fantasy anyways and online betting, you might as well, right? Hey. But also like and subscribe if you haven't already. We really appreciate it. Stay tuned with us. We'll give you the best fantasy football advice you'll find around. I mean, just look on Twitter.
Indeed, we answer all the questions. We're super active, so we'll answer any questions you have. Let's go ahead, Philip Lindsay or J.K. Dobbins. Me personally, I'd go J.K. Dobbins. Ryan, real quick, who would you go?
Dobbins, but I do like Lindsay.
Giggs, who would you go?
Man, I don't like. I guess Dobbins.
Any thoughts on the Masters? Thoughts on the Masters, real quick, of people that I think could possibly win the tournament. I'm gonna go Xander Schauffele real quick. He's my boy, and he's playing really good. He's been playing really good golf really all year. And then you got a couple guys who I think that will be in contention. But if you really want really good master videos on who, if you play like DFS or want to bet, Run Rick Run on YouTube. I believe that's what his name is. Run Rick Run. He does like really good analysis. He's really entertaining to watch as well. I would go watch his videos honestly if you want golfing because I'm in no place to really give golfing advice. I'd say Shoffley just because he is playing really well, but golfing advice, go watch Run Rick Run. He's really good.
Another plug for
How
another
many
guy to
points
listen
do you
to.
think Hollywood will get? Go ahead.
Masters advice, Jason Sobel on Twitter. He does a really good job as well.
What
I think
is his name
he has
again?
his own channel. Jason Sobel, Sobel. He's already starting to talk
Okay.
about the Masters too. He's a good guy to follow.
Okay.
So, is it for
Good,
sure?
couple good guys.
Is it
Hold
for
on,
sure?
wait. We have one more question in the chat real quick. Hold on. How many points do you think Hollywood would get? I think, honestly, I think he's going to get around probably like, I'd project him for, I think like around 60 yards. Now, he could have more than that, maybe a touchdown, but I think like I'd say like 4 catches, 60 yards is what I'd project him for this week. What were you gonna say, Kyle?
Zeke. Somebody's saying they haven't seen anything about Zeke being out.
I don't
It was
think he's been officially ruled
Now
out.
I'm
They
seeing
said it.
that they put him on injury reserve, but I just don't injured reserve. I don't see that. Yeah, it says
I
right
didn't
here,
see that IR.
fan sided. Cowboys offense coordinator Kellen Moore said it's wait and see on how much Zeke Elliott hamstring. So why would they say that? Is that like clickbait? Like why would they do that? It says
It's
nothing
probably
about.
clickbait.
That's
There was a
ridiculous.
report yesterday that he was going to
Anybody
be ruled out.
anybody watching, never use fan sided sports DFW. Never use them. They're clickbait. Fuck them. But
Well,
I can't
Ian
find
Rappaport
anything.
said Ian Rappaport said he has a good chance to play because the workout looked good. So he probably plays now. Is he going to be limited? Probably. Is he going to probably split some carries with Pollard? I'd imagine. And it's a terrible matchup with a terrible quarterback. I don't like it at all. So if you have a better option, I would go and play a better option. Now I'm not sitting Zeke for like Nahi Himes. If you have a better options, I'd go like Dobbins, even Lindsey, Melvin Gordon, those kind of guys. I would start over Zeke this week. All right. We have a question on Twitter. Jonathan Taylor or Deontay Johnson?
Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good one. We have a full point PPR flex gigs. Who would you go? We got Godwin, Justin Jefferson, Montgomery, Taylor. Who would you go? Pick one. Not there. Okay, I'll go David Montgomery. That's who I would pick full PPR. Or Ryan, who would you go?
It was Montgomery. I wasn't going to pick Godwin. Who are the other two?
Jefferson or Jonathan Taylor?
Montgomery.
I think Montgomery. Montgomery's seeing. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like top 3 in running back targets on the season. So, especially in the PPR, I would play Montgomery. So, good luck this week. Hopefully, good advice there. I'm so screwed this week. Galladay is out. Zeke looks like Tom Brady rushing. Yeah, that's a good analysis. Um, Drake was wasted draft pick and is a 14 team league. So depth is hard to come by. No viable options to replace Zeke. Has Patrick Laird, is that how do you say his last name? Laird? I don't know
Fair.
how to say his last name.
This might be
Lair?
right. I don't know.
Lair, I think. If he's available, I know that he was available in like I think it was like 98% of leagues or something the other day, so he probably has gone up. But if he's available, I would start him over replace Zeke, honestly. I don't think Zeke plays that much. I really don't. But hey, that's what we said about Aaron Jones, and he ended up playing. So I guess at that point you might as well play Zeke. But at the same time,
But
if he ends up being ruled out, I haven't seen anything yet. But if he ends up being ruled out, I would go Laird.
I know you like Zeke. Obviously, if you have him in, you're hoping that he plays. But even if he is, say he's 75%, 80%, he still is a horrible matchup. Like most of you don't usually love running backs starting against, like putting them up against the Steelers run defense. But his offensive line has looked horrible. The team has looked horrible. They have a quarterback starting for the first time. I don't think anything points to wanting to play Zeke, even if he is, say, officially ruled active and starting. I'd still look for other options. I mean, I know he said depth's hard to come by, but Jordan Howard has looked literally horrible. And so Laird should be getting a decent amount of time for Miami, especially if that offense gets moving a little bit. So Laird should be a better play over Zeke, I'd say.
I agree. So let's go with us. Any other questions in the chat? Go ahead. Feel free to ask them. Hurst or Gage in the flex? Who are we going this week?
I like Hurst.
I would go. I agree. I like Hurst. I think Hurst is a pretty good play this week, especially at the tight end, not just like a flex play. Well, like obviously wide receivers and running backs more if you have better options, but I think he's a pretty solid fantasy play
This
this
one's
week.
tough. Pick 2. Dallas, Dobbins, Jackson, Justin Jackson, Tony Pollard.
Dallas.
Dobbins,
Jackson.
I'd go
Dobbins
DJ
and
Dallas
Jackson.
and Jackson.
I was gonna say Dallas and Jackson.
Wait, you skipped Dallas, Tyler. DJ Dallas was
What,
one
I
of
said
them.
Dallas.
You said
Oh.
Dobbins.
Oh, I thought I meant
So Dallas and
Dallas
Jackson.
Jackson. Yeah. I picked up Jacoby Myers and Frank Gore just in case. Yeah, I think Jacoby Myers honestly will be a pretty good play this week. I think he's a decent play for sure. We got a question on Twitter. Mike Evans or Mike Williams? Who would you go, Giggs?
I kind of like Mike Williams in this matchup.
I agree. I like him as well. Who would you go, Ryan?
I was gonna say Williams as well.
We got Cole Beasley or Corey Davis.
Cole Beasley has the better matchup. Corey Davis has shown an excellent floor this year, but I think I would feel more confident with Cole Beasley, in all honesty.
I agree. I think that defense has looked pretty terrible. They did look better. What was it, last week against San Francisco? Is that when that game was? I can't remember when that game was. Yeah, I think it was last week. They look better, but that's also against Jimmy G, who looks terrible. You have everybody getting hurt in that offense. So me personally, I like Cole Beasley. We have Pollard, we have Howard, and JD McKissick. Who would you go?
Oh.
Are you reading that tweet?
Which one? The one that?
Or was that a question in the chat? Because
No,
I
that
just
was a
replied to
tweet.
that tweet that you just read off.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And so Gibson or Jerry Judy? Ooh. Who
I like
would
Judy this
you
week
go?
though.
Me
I might go
personally,
Antonio Gibson, but I do like Judy.
I like Judy this week as well. Has a really good matchup, so I'd probably go Jerry Judy. I would just wait and see with AP. Personally, I think he obviously he hasn't played in a year, so I think that stamina needs to just get up a little bit, then conditioning and everything. So, Giggs, who would you go?
Was it Antonio Brown? Was it Gibson or
I thought you said
Antonio
Gibson.
Brown?
Oh, I'm sorry, Antonio Brown.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Not Antonio Brown.
So you go Jerry Judy.
Yeah, he has a great matchup.
Yes, great matchup. And a quick plug because I love talking about it. Well, I haven't looked at it this week, what they are ranked, but Atlanta is one of the worst passing defense in the NFL this year. They were first in yards allowed, first in passer rating. I think it was third in completion percentage. The most touchdowns scored on them this season. So Atlanta's terrible in the passing game. Terrible. Now, the game last week against I think it was Carolina. Yeah, Carolina on Thursday night wasn't terrible just because the weather was really bad. So I don't think that the Panthers could really do that well because of it. But I think this week, Drew Lock and the Broncos have a pretty solid fantasy week this week. Start three: Robinson, Montgomery, Jacobs, and Edmonds. Please and thank you. Robinson, Jacobs, and Edmonds is who I would start. Ryan, who would you start?
I would definitely
Robinson,
do Edmonds and Jacobs,
Montgomery.
but who was the one you didn't? Montgomery. I would go Montgomery over
Robinson.
the first Robinson. Yeah.
Giggs, who would you go? Who would you sit basically out of those?
It was David Montgomery, Robinson, and who?
David Montgomery. So we have
Chase
Robinson,
Edmonds.
Montgomery. Yes, Montgomery, Edmonds, Jacobs, and Robinson.
I would play Chase Edmonds and Robinson.
All right, there you go. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask. Well, we're here for you. We'll answer any questions you have. Also, a quick plug as well. If you don't follow us on Twitter, @AspireSports_, we're here to help you win your fantasy leagues. If you have any questions, honestly, Like even if it's like a Wednesday or something or a Tuesday, feel free to ask us. We'll give you any advice that we can give you. Okay, boys, good luck today. Sorry, but hope the Steelers lose. No, they're gonna win. Hey, thank you for hanging out. We appreciate it. So let's go ahead and to some more questions here on Twitter. Let's do rapid fire here. So we got Mike Davis or Swift. Who would you go, Ryan? Mike Davis or Swift?
Swift.
Gigs, who would
Swift.
you go?
Swift.
All right, we got Swift. So let's go to the next one here, and that's going to be, oh, we got another Mike Evans and Mike Williams question here. Definitely, I think he's really play this week. Ooh, this is a good one. TJ Hawkinson or Chase Claypool as a flex play this week? Who would you go, Gigs? Since you're a Lions fan, would you play Hawkinson?
I think Hawkinson's a safer floor, but I'm going to go Claypool in that matchup.
What about you, Ryan?
I'm gonna go Hawkinson.
I'm going to go Hawkinson as well. I
Mm.
do think he's a really good play this week. I think he's honestly like a borderline top 3 play this week. I like him a
The
lot.
question I have for these people, like we heard another one earlier, like Hawkinson as a flex. Who is your starting tight end that you have Hawkinson as a flex? There was one earlier too where it was like a stud tight end, like maybe it was Hayden Hurst question. Like who is your starting tight end that you have both of these guys?
Maybe Kelsey. It has to be Kelsey, and that's it. The
Well, I
only
guess
one,
Waller.
yeah, Kelsey or Waller. Those are the only two. Who would you play, Hawkinson or Noah Fant?
Oh, don't do. I don't want to answer this.
Who would you play?
I'm gonna say Fant because he's $200 cheaper in FanDuel.
Well, and season long though, who would you play? I don't
Fant.
think there's a wrong answer.
I'm gonna go Noah.
Noah? I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I think if you're sitting there with both of them on your team, I do think that one of them's a pretty good solid flex play as well. But those are the only really, who else? Would you play Mark Andrews or Hawkinson?
Hawkinson.
I think I'd go Hawkinson. Would you go
starting-
Mark Andrews or Fant?
Fant.
I would go Fant too.
Are you starting
I'd
DJ
say-
Dallas or J.K. Dobbins?
DJ Dallas.
DJ
all
DJ
day.
Dallas.
Yeah, that's what I said.
DJ Dallas.
Because I could
a
see
top
Gus
10 play
Edwards
this
just
week.
maybe taking over, like maybe taking Dobbins' touchdowns away or something like that because he's
Guys,
a goal line back. I could see
the-
that being a possibility.
the Colts are the best rush defense in the league. I don't know why people think Baltimore's gonna have a lot of success on them. They've given up 559 yards all season and only 4 touchdowns. So
Yeah, no, I agree. But Pittsburgh, they manhandled Pittsburgh last week. That's why I think that there's at least some hope.
And they're not as good as Pittsburgh's defense.
We've already had this argument.
Mm-hmm.
No, I do think that both of them. I don't know. I like Dobbins going forward. I don't know about this week, but I just think he's a really good player, and you start really good players. So if you're desperate, I wouldn't say desperate. I think he's like a top 25 play this week, and I don't think it's desperation because you have injuries, you have buys, COVID, whatever the case may be. Zeke, you have no idea what the hell's happening there. I mean, whatever, but yeah. So let's go ahead and answer any more questions that you may have in the chat. Kind of fading out here, so we need to. Let's just we'll keep it live on Twitter. If you guys want to talk about anything, go ahead.
Pittsburgh Steelers are going to Super Bowl.
Any betting advice?
Yeah, a couple. I like Will Fuller to have a really good day today. I just did a Will Fuller parlay. Strictly him scoring the first touchdown, him scoring anytime, and him over for yards. Just because I don't obviously you don't expect it to hit, but you can same game parlay that.
Well, because I thought that they fixed that. If you did first touchdown scorer and then any touchdown scorer.
No, I put it in. That's what she said.
Well, that's interesting because I know that when I tried to do it a couple of times in the past, because if you like, that just makes the most sense. If you're going to do a same game parlay, obviously, if you think somebody's going to be the first touchdown scorer, you might as well make a parlay out of it and just do first touchdown scorer, anytime touchdown scorer, because that's
Yeah, it-
that makes the
It
most
played
sense.
plus 1,200. So a $5 bet to win $60.50.
And what was it again?
It was him to be the anytime touchdown scorer, him to be the first touchdown scorer, and him to have over 64.5 receiving yards. Can you imagine if that all happened like the first play of scrimmage? It's not crazy to think like the first play of the game that you
Yeah.
win that bet. It could happen.
Right. Yeah. It could happen, especially against this defense. They're pretty terrible.
Yeah.
So for sure. What about you, Gigs?
Jeeves.
I want to talk about Metcalf matchup versus
Real quick though,
White, Tre'Davious White,
Justin
Metcalf.
Justin
We'll eat 'em
Jefferson,
up.
Brandon Cooks, or DJ Chark.
Brandon Cooks.
You guys agree?
Travis Homer, I would say Cooks, yeah. Although I do like DJ Chark this week. I do like him this week. I think that he's just a really good player and he's healthy. I think they get him the ball, but I'd probably go Cooks, but it's close. Travis Homer or Tony Pollard. I'd go Tony Pollard out of those two.
Same.
I don't think Travis Homer. We saw it last week when he wasn't playing when Chris Carson and Hyde were out. It was basically DJ Dallas here in the backfield. So I would go Tony Pollard because I do think it's going to be a split here with possibly even Tony Pollard leading the backfield with Zeke being hurt. So it's a terrible matchup, but it's something, it's something. All right, question on Twitter. Let's go ahead and answer this one. Oh, we have this one. So this is a good one. Who would you go, Zeke or Pollard?
Pollard.
A good Pollard, I think. Yeah.
That is a really tough one.
All right, this is a good
Um,
one.
but-
Ingram versus Washington or Enron versus Dallas. I replied and I said, Enron is currently out of business, but Big Ben and Ebron aren't. I said Ebron.
No, who'd you say? You said Ebron?
Yeah.
I said it last time these two teams played. Bostic can't cover anybody, and he's been going up against the tight ends. So I thought Evan Ingram was going to have a really good game, and it didn't happen. And he ended up having like 2 catches though for like 40 yards or something. But maybe this is the week that he eats up a very friendly matchup with Bostic because Bostic is terrible. Jamison Crowder or Mike Evans?
Who the
Biden or Trump? Neither.
who the fuck is Dobson?
I hope.
They might mean Dobbins.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't like J.K. Dobbins. Not this week.
Who would you go? Henry Ruggs or AB?
Ruggs.
Ooh, we got a little disagreement here. So let's hear your sides. Why would you go Ruggs, Gigs? Actually, real quick, we got this Dan H in the chat. He says Jonathan Taylor or DJ Chark.
DJ Chark, especially if it's full PPR.
I like Chark as well. I go Chark. So let's hear your case for Ruggs, Gigs.
All right. Well, Ruggs last week could have had a big touchdown, but I think he either dropped it or they got called back. I don't remember. It was the refs. I got a Raiders fan in this house. He's reminding me it was the refs. But here's the thing. Ruggs is drafted number 1 overall for a reason. He's a speedster, and I think that he's going to be able to exploit the Chiefs secondary. They're not the best against speedsters. So give me Ruggs today. He's going to have a long one. Big touchdown.
You heard it here first, Ruggs. You heard it here first. Big touchdown, top 10 play this week.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Or you want to go? Not that bold?
I'm not getting that crazy. I just don't know if Antonio Brown's going to be a great play first week back.
Well, Giggs, you said yourself that you don't trust, you lost trust in Godwin because of his finger. So basically, let's just say that he's going out there as a ploy to get a couple targets, maybe catch a few balls. So in one of the premier offensive games that's going to be on this slate, if it's Mike Evans and Antonio Brown pretty much running the show, how do you not trust AB to at least have a big part in an offense like that?
I haven't seen AB play with them yet, so I understand what you're saying, but I know how valuable Henry Ruggs is to the Raiders. They went and got him first round. They want to use him. I think he could have had a good game last week. I don't think he has the toughest of matchups this week. I don't think the Saints are that great of a defense this year, but there's a lot of mouths to feed on that offense. So if Godwin is out there and he is getting targets, he is taking away from other players, which would be Brown. So I'd be very surprised if Antonio Brown got double-digit targets this game. And
Oh, well, I would be too. That's a lot of targets.
I don't think Henry Ruggs is going to get
We have-
double-digit targets, but I think that he could be more involved than Brown.
All right, DJ Dallas, J.K. Dobbins, or Philip Lindsay? I think we're all
DJ
probably
Dallas.
gonna say DJ Dallas, right?
Mhm.
Joe, listen, Joe, if you're still here, listen. DJ Dallas is a top 10 play this week. 100% feel good about it. Plug him in your lineup. It's a really good play. And good luck to you. And if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. So let's go ahead. Would you still play Pollard? Zeke expected to play. So I think I would still play. I don't think he sees a full workload. So I just think it's going to be basically half and half with the possibility if this game gets out of reach, Zeke just not even playing, which could happen. And then you just have Pollard in garbage time getting some catches out of the backfield, which I like, especially if it's a PPR league. If you have any other questions, go ahead and ask them in the chat. We'll answer any questions. Let's just keep going on Twitter here because there's always people asking questions on Twitter. Twitter is so popping right before 1 o'clock, like so many people. So we have Lamar Jackson or Matt Ryan. Who are you starting this week? We'll start with Giggs. Who are you starting?
What are my options?
Ty, you went
Matt
out for a second
Ryan
when you said that.
or Lamar Jackson?
Matt Ryan.
Ryan, who would you go?
Oh, Matt Ryan.
Godwin or Fuller?
Full
I'd
Fuller.
not Godwin. I'd go Fuller. What about you? I think Fuller's like a top 10 play this week, don't you think? He's a
Yeah, I love
borderline top
Fuller.
10 play.
Will Fuller.
All
has
right, we
one of
got
the
another
easiest
question
matchups.
in the chat. He does. He has a beautiful matchup. Mwah! Mwah! We got 2 questions in the chat real quick. We got Dan H. We'll skip his question real quick and go to Scotty Sands. Scotty Sands says, DJ, Zach Moss, or Singletary? DJ. If you haven't been here, Scotty, DJ's a top 10 play this week. Play DJ. Insert him. Feel good about
David
it.
Johnson
Giggs, I'm gonna
or
ask you.
Chark?
I'd go David Johnson. I think that defense terrible. So Dan Hoover, well, not Dan Hoover, Dan H. Sorry. Juju, Tim Patrick, or Robbie Anderson? Giggs, who would you play? Juju, Tim Patrick, or Robbie Anderson?
I'll go with Robbie Anderson.
Who would you go, Ryan?
Oh, Robbie Anderson.
I'd probably go. I'm gonna be a bit different. I'm gonna say my boy Tim Patrick. Hey, what's good, Tim Patrick? Beautiful matchup this week. Watch, he's gonna go out there and he's gonna have yourself a day, and then you're gonna come back here, Dan Hoover or Dan H. I keep saying, and say, you know, you guys are awesome, and we'll gladly take that subscribe. So let's go ahead and just keep going. We have another question here under. Oh, this is a good one. Who would you play? You can only play one out of these, okay? I don't know how, like, who else are these ones, but we have McCaffrey, McLaurin, David Johnson, and Mike Evans. I don't know how your team
McLaurin.
you drafted really well, or playing in like a 6-man league for those to be your options this week. I'd say McLaurin as well, personally. We got a question in the chat real quick. Jerry Jeudy or Robbie Anderson? Who would you go, Giggs?
Damn, that's tough. I really like Jerry Judy's matchup this week, and I'm going to be bullish on him and go Judy.
Judy, who would you go, Ryan?
Judy.
Judy, let's go Judy. Um, even with McCaffrey coming back, what was your question again? Um, what are you saying?
You
McCaffrey's
take
gonna split.
McLaurin over
They
McCaffrey.
already said it. Oh, McLaurin over McCaffrey. Yeah, because CJ or McCaffrey CMC is only gonna see they already said that they're gonna split series on and off, him and Mike Davis. So you're welcome, Colton. Good luck this week. Um, and let's go with how do you feel about starting Michael Thomas this week?
It's a must.
A must start, you think?
If you've been
Yeah.
waiting this long holding him, you got to start him this week.
Yeah, true. It's been a long ride. We have Bell, Hines, or Taylor, full PPR, 6-point PPR. So you get 6
points per
points.
reception. Holy hell.
What?
Sign me up.
Who would you go out of that? Bell, Hines, or Taylor?
I'm going to go Hines.
I'd probably
Oh,
say
boy.
Bell.
You think so? I think
Yeah,
I'd
I
go
think you'll
Hines.
see.
I think
Well,
so.
there you go, Hines. Only reason I'd combat that is because last week, yes, Hines played well and he's had a good game, but he also only played 16 snaps. So, like to me, I'd go Bell just because he played more snaps, basically split with CEH. So I just think that Bell, in my opinion, against Carolina, better matchup. But hey, Hines is also a good play. Tyler Lockett dropped 85 points in the league. Holy shit. 85 points? That's insane. Oh man. Did you have him or were you playing against him? Because that would be one sad day if you're playing against them. And imagine your team played really well and then you're going to Monday night. Okay, I'm up by 50 points, right? I think I feel pretty good about that. And then he goes out and
80
drops
points.
85. I'd be so sad.
Yeah.
That's insane. Melvin Gordon or Damian Harris? Me personally, I'd go Melvin Gordon, or not Melvin Gordon. I'd go Damian Harris. I like his matchup better. Gigs, who would you go?
Harris. Coming off a 100-yard performance. I like him.
Ryan?
Yeah, I agree. Just watch Sony Michelle. Obviously, you have to make that decision here soon, but they have at any point they can activate Sony Michelle off the IR, and obviously that fuzzies things up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, how that backfield works out. I have Bell right now because Carolina gives up more yards, was torn though. Thanks for the help. Hey, you're welcome. And if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. We release content daily that's going to help you win your leagues. I promise you that. We're all about helping you guys here at Aspire Sports. That is our goal, to provide our years of fantasy expertise, more than 10 years for myself. I'm sure more than 10 for the other guys as well. But honestly, I've been playing fantasy sports for such a long time and I research it daily. So I want to help you. We want to help you win your fantasy leagues. That's what it's all about. When do you guys do these live? So we go live on Sunday, 11:15 to 1 o'clock. We go live on Monday and Thursday night from 7:30 to basically game time, like 8:20ish. And then we also are going to go live again tonight around 7:30 to 8:30 as well to recap the games and everything and plays that we like tonight.
Did you say Thursday as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think I said Monday and Thursday. I could be wrong. I don't listen to myself talk. It's hard, right? Let's go ahead into a question on Twitter. Hurst or Jonnu Smith this week? Who would you go?
I like Hurst this week a lot.
Who would you play, Gigs?
I like Hurst.
I like Hurst as well. I think Hurst is a good play. But I really, this is another one that I don't think you can go wrong with either or. I think both of them are pretty solid plays. Yes. Yes, we know Jonnu hasn't been the best, but let's hope he turns it around here. And I think he will.
Hey, guys, don't be hard on Jonnu Smith.
He's a beast. He's such a good athlete too. He's so fast. He's
Hell
big.
yeah.
He's like, that's just how tight ends are becoming now. Extremely fast, extremely
They're
just
becoming the best athletes. on the
massive
field.
specimen. Yeah, honestly, they are, and it's
They have to
insane.
block like a lineman and then run routes like a receiver. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my God,
They're human
Howard
cheat
or
codes.
Singletary?
Singletary with a
I'd go
Jordan Howard.
Singletary.
Let me be weird
But
and say Howard.
we got a question in the chat. Chark or Marvin in the flex this week? Me personally, I'd go Chark, but I know who Giggs is gonna pick. He loves them.
That's a really tough one. I mean, Chark is a really talented receiver. He gets a ton of balls thrown his way. So I don't think you can go wrong, but yes, I'm gonna go Jones. You're right, because they're missing a bunch of corners in Minnesota this week.
And that's also a really good plug here for, honestly, if you disagree with us or if you're thinking somebody else and we said the other person, like just go with your gut. Like I know that everybody wants to, ask ESPN or like Matthew Berry or Pro Football Focus or the Fantasy Pros, but honestly, at the end of the day, just go with your gut. You know your team, you believe in whoever you want to play, just go with it. And if it doesn't happen, oh well, it's next week, another week. So go with your gut. Let's go. We have another question here on this one is on Twitter, and I'll ask you, Rye Guy. So we have start Michael or no, okay, that one already left. So I'm gonna ask you a defensive question. So we have Washington or Ravens defense. Who would you go? That's a
Ravens.
good one.
Washington's defense.
Who? I'd go Ravens as well. I think, but I do think Washington's also a really good player. Herbert or Lamar? I think we would probably all say Herbert. I think you just keep playing Herbert until he cools off. Personally, what you guys agree?
Herbert.
Yeah. Go Herbert. If Godwin is still an option, still Godwin. If between Williams, oh, that's just somebody answering my one of my questions here that I answered, dude. I already answered that question, man. Which New York defense should I go with this week? I'd go
Giants.
Giants. I'd probably say Giants as well. Giants. We have a question. I don't need the disclaimer, man. I appreciate the interaction you guys have been given compared to the big guys. Hey, well, we appreciate it. We appreciate any feedback. If there's something that you think that we could do better, let us know. Honestly, we're all about trying to grow this thing. So if you guys have any advice for the future, we'd really appreciate it. In another league, if I may pick your brains again, yeah, sure, go ahead. Honestly, any questions you have, don't feel just ask them. Like honestly, don't be afraid to ask any question. If you want to ask us 10 questions, we're not going to say, okay, that's enough questions. No, just ask them. We'll answer any questions. Jerry Judy or Godwin? Me personally, I'd probably go Jerry Judy just because I am a little bit worried about Godwin's injury. I I think Jerry Judy has a great matchup. And one thing that they did do that they haven't done is they finally moved him outside instead of playing him in the slot last week. They went KJ Hamler in the slot, and Jerry Judy had a really good week. So maybe that's a trend going forward. What do you guys think?
I like Judy.
Yeah, I like Judy. I do.
And we have another
do.
question here. Is anyone starting Godwin this week? And I'm feeling iffy about it. If you have a better option, I would start him. But if you're, like, it depends on the options, especially if
I'm
you have
starting
like
him
a
in one of my
flex play.
leagues. I think he's in my flex in one of my leagues.
Chark or Parker, who would you go? I would probably. Ooh, that is a tough one as well. I'd go Chark just because I think a new quarterback, he's going to find a target he likes, and that's going to be Chark because I just think he's a really good player. But I do think Parker's a pretty solid play as well. But I'd go Chark. What about you, Ryan?
What was it? Chark or who?
Parker.
Parker. I've been listening to you guys, and I get it. Chark is a good wide receiver, but I don't know why we're acting like he's such a safe play with a new quarterback that hasn't started yet, coming in and just taking over. That's a rookie quarterback against. I mean, it's not a fantastic defense, but I don't know why we're just assuming that he just has like some solid.
You could
floor.
say the same thing about Tua.
I don't love Tua either.
You
Tua
could
is
say the same thing
definitely-
about
Oh,
Tua,
oh.
though.
Tua is
But I'm
definitely a
saying-
more sought after recruit though. Like he's
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. But he's also,
I do like Chark.
if you
though.
looked at, but
I'm
if
just
you look
saying,
at,
like, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No,
That
I'm
was
just saying I like
hilarious.
Chark as a wide receiver, but Jake Luton, it's not like he was some like
He's a
I mean,
stud, dude.
was he a 5th round pick out of
I don't even know where he went.
Oklahoma
Yeah.
State, something like that. Oregon State. Chark's gonna
We're
get
just-
volume. It's just what is he gonna do with it? Is the ball gonna be where it needs to be thrown? But I'm
Hopefully.
with you, Ryan. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Chark doesn't hit 10 points today. But if he also gets like a 14, 15 point day, I'm not surprised either. So
Yeah.
I think he's
I
kind
do-
of a boomer bust, and the game flow will definitely be in his favor.
a bet that I like while we're talking about this. I do like James Robinson over for
Hold on, real
receptions.
quick.
Set at 3.5. Go ahead.
3.5. Okay, that's not bad. Frank Gore. Actually, wait. Let me back up just to make sure I got all these questions real quick. I'm a big fan of Drew Lock. Yes. So I'm hoping Jerry Judy. I think Drew Lock just has a good game. I think the Broncos are in a really good position because this is the worst pass defense in the NFL in Atlanta, so they should have a good game this week. Frank Gore and Mike Davis. Me personally, I'd go Mike Davis. They're going to be splitting series, so I just think that bodes well for Mike Davis. In a game that they're probably going to be down, so passing the ball, especially in like PPR leagues, we've seen how many targets these running backs get. So I think Mike Davis pretty good play. And a nice little plug here. If you don't subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. If you like this content, please hit that subscribe button. Honestly, we create new content daily. J.K. Dobbins or Damian Harris, Gigs? Brian, J.K. Dobbins or Damian Harris?
Damian Harris.
I agree. I'd go Damian Harris. Kyle, who
J.K.
would you go?
Dobbins.
Steve?
Yeah, I do like Steve.
Would
this
you
week.
go Jerry Judy, Mike Williams, AJ Brown, Robbie Anderson? Who are you sitting out of those?
Can you repeat them?
I probably have to be Judy, right? It is Jerry Judy, Mike Williams, AJ Brown, Robbie Anderson. Who are you sitting today?
Oh. It feels weird saying Jerry Judy after we've talked about all day about how much we've liked them.
I know, but those are like
Yeah,
really,
he has some really good
good
options,
options as
yeah.
well. But I mean, if you want to sit, I'd probably maybe consider. I would definitely start Mike Williams, but maybe AJ Brown or Robbie Anderson just because of the matchup. But I wouldn't sit them. Question in the chat here: should I start Seattle's team? I got Wilson, Lockett, DK, and Dallas. I would do it. I don't see any problem with that. I'd go and start them all if you have them all. I'd say one of them might not have a good game, but honestly, they could all have a very good game. Just like, well, did Lockett not have that good of a game last week against San Francisco? I think he was kind of like
I
the
don't
odd
think-
man out.
Yeah.
So one of them's going to be kind of like the odd man out. I think all of them have a really good week this week. So I'd feel confident in doing it. Go for it. Let's go ahead into another question. Giants best option. So they have Seahawks defense there. Yeah, I would say Giants. You said everyone on the C. Yes, White. I will say this, but at the same time, I don't want to say don't sit him because it's stupid. You start DK Metcalf, but DK Metcalf will probably see the coverage from White. Buffalo is terrible in the slot, so I think Lockett has the best matchup in this game. But at the same time, you can have DK catch 15 balls and nobody would be surprised. So you don't sit them, you start all of them. But I think Lockett has the best matchup. Real quick, we got Love Shack. Yo, what's up, Love Shack? Ryan, I'm gonna ask you this one. Looking for some thoughts here. These are my running back options. Need two. So he needs two of these guys. Swift, James Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss. Who are your two?
I'd probably go Swift and Zach Moss. I don't I don't necessarily
Ooh, over
love.
James Robinson.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the week for
I go
Moss that
James
it all
Robinson
happens.
and Swift. You think so?
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here
Thanks.
first. If that's what happens, hey, credit this guy. I don't know where he is on my screen here. If he's down below. Oh, I think he's on
Who?
this side. I don't remember what side he's on. What side's Ryan on? My left or my right side?
He's down to your
Is he on
left.
this side?
He's down
So
to your
down
left.
here.
Yeah.
I'm pointing
And that
to
also
him.
has
Okay.
part to do with
So
I don't like this offense. I don't like the whole like Lutton taking over today. I mean, Minshew obviously had this offense going downhill, but it's not like I just think Lutton's just going to pick it up and just change everything around for him.
I would go, me personally, I would go Robinson. I do think he's a lock. I disagree with Ryan, but I would go James Robinson and Swift is who I would go. AB or Corey Davis, Ryan, who would you go?
Who did you say first? Did you say AB
AB.
or Corey Davis? Okay.
Corey Davy?
I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
rolling with AB.
Who's Corey Davy?
I'd play
Who's
AB as
Corey
well.
Dave? I think Swift is too good. I'm just worried about, hey, yes, well, we have a Lions fan here. I'm also starting Marvin Jones. I think Marvin Jones pretty good play this week as well. And just real quick plug here. If you haven't, hit that like button, subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. You can go check out our videos. You don't have to watch them if you don't want to watch them right now, but just look at it. We're creating a bunch of content that's going to help you find people off the waivers, free agents that maybe you can get I would say, leg up against your competition in your fantasy leagues, because I think we talk about it, pretty quickly. When news breaks, we come out with a video on who to pick up to replace the player. So, but we have a Lions fan here, and I think he's right above me. Yes, he's right above me as Giggs. He's a Lions fan, so he can kind of tell you what he thinks about Swift and Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones, I love because Minnesota is playing without three of their starting corners, or at least three of their corners that are on the roster. So whenever you have a depleted secondary, you want to take advantage of that. Minnesota hasn't been that great defensively. Swift, the only thing that concerns me is, even though he should be getting involved, and he was stringing a couple good games together, and then last week he was non-existent against the Colts. They have a really good rush defense, so that might have been why. So maybe he could have a bounce back game here, but I still don't have 100% trust in him as like an RB2, because the timeshare is so weird with Patricia. As far as Marvin Jones goes, I think he's good for 8 to 10 targets today. So I expect a big game from him.
Teresa D says, as someone from Michigan, we aren't even Lions fans here. So who do you like? Who's your favorite team if you're from Michigan? That's funny. Why are you a Lions fan, Gigs? Just because of Barry Sanders? Is that maybe why? Or
Calvin
Calvin
Johnson.
Johnson?
When I watched him in college, I told myself, I grew up a Colts fan. My dad, my brother, both Colts fans. And I was like, I want to just like my own team. I'm going to just pick somebody. So Calvin Johnson in college, I was like, wherever that guy goes, I'm going to like that team. He landed on Detroit. So I was like, there you go. I'm going to like the Lions now. And then they got Stafford, who I really like too. So I'm kind of just riding this wave of the Johnson Stafford. And I don't know. It's a sad organization to be a fan of. That's all I know. I feel like I have Stockholm syndrome.
All right. So we got any other questions in the chat? We're approaching game time here. We got 10 minutes here. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask, whatever it may be. We'll answer any questions you have. So we'll take some questions here on Twitter real quick. Any last minute advice? Would you start J.K. Dobbins over Melvin Gordon this week?
No.
What about you, Ryan?
I'd say no on that one.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna ride and die with Dobbins here, and especially DJ Dallas. If DJ Dallas has a bad week this week, I'm going to look like a big idiot on Twitter because I've been talking him up so much the past couple of days. Everybody's going to be like, dude, you said start DJ Dallas. He was a complete bust. So I hope not. I'll throw you out, or I'll throw one out here. So Justin Jefferson or Godwin? Me personally, I go Justin Jefferson. I think they throw the ball. They didn't throw the ball that much last week. That's kind of why he didn't have that good of a game. But I think they throw the ball, so I'd go Justin Jefferson. I'm actually a Raiders fan, but drafted the Seattle team, including Carson. I knew this was their year. Hey, good for you, man. Good for you. Like that was a good pick. Yeah, me personally as a Steelers fan, I don't like to draft Steelers players just because I hate like the double whammy you get. If they lose and then like your players don't do well, also I feel like I'm biased a little bit, obviously. So I stay away from draft Steelers players unless like they come at really good value in the draft. But what would you guys think, Godwin or Justin Jefferson?
I'd agree with you, Justin Jefferson.
I'd go Justin Jefferson as well.
Jebby Jeff again.
Thanks, guys. Good luck, Gigs. I'll even root for the Reliance today. Hey, I'm sure you
Hell
can
yeah.
appreciate that. Hell
Aha!
yeah.
Yeah.
Banana bread? Yeah, that was a
Hell
good
yeah.
impression though.
But banana bread
Um,
at work, bro?
but yeah, honestly, thank
Hell
you
yeah.
all for watching. We do really appreciate it. Couple more minutes here and then we'll be wrapping things up. So if any last minute questions, maybe it's even about next week, whatever the case may be, rest of season, whatever it is, go ahead and ask them in the chat. But let's go
Ask
on
her up.
Twitter here. And we have, yeah, we almost got, um, we're right at, how many followers is that? Almost at 80 followers today. In one day. That's pretty good. I smoked my brisket at 250 degrees over hickory and cherry wood. Okay, I see. Or mesquite
Um,
and apple. Cherry wood. Well,
brisket.
here, we'll ask Kyle. He's the chef. Yes.
Brisket. I'm gonna be doing hickory. No, I like the mesquite and apple mixture. I like that better. Mesquite is always a great flavor. You can't go wrong with it. And then you get a little bit of that apple in there, but you could do cherry too, I think. But I'm going with mesquite over hickory, apple or cherry. That's up to
Same
you.
game parlay.
Depends if you're
Ryan, do you
feeling
have
green
one?
or if you're feeling red.
I can do a random one real quick. The parlay for the people usually comes from the primetime games, but I did
Yeah,
do
that's
one.
true.
I think that and a pretty solid one. If you wanted to put one together, this Texans game, I feel like, I mean, it's a matchup of bad teams, but if you wanted to put something together, I like the under in the game. I like Fuller overall. So
Mhm.
I guess you could do. I'll just do one right now. The under in the game, Fuller to go. I like Fuller to score. I'm gonna do Fuller to score.
Real quick, I'm gonna answer these questions while you're talking
Yeah.
or thinking about it real quick. Patriots D or Colts D? I'd go Colts and Carr or Foles. I'd go Carr, but I think Foles is a really sneaky play this week. I do think a good week against Tennessee, who don't get any pressure on the quarterback, one of the lowest pressure rates in the NFL, and they've been beaten in the passing game. I think giving up their bottom half in the league with a bye week already, in terms of passing yards allowed. So I think he's a pretty decent play as well. I'd say Carr, but if you're feeling risky, Foles is honestly a pretty good play as well, in my opinion. Go
All right. I
ahead.
put one together real quick. It's for the Texans, the Jags game. I'd have the under in the game of 48.5. Anytime touchdown from Will Fuller. Will Fuller to go over 64.5 receiving yards, and James Robinson to go under 70.5 rushing yards.
Is it the parlay for the people?
No, we don't do parlay for the people's
Oh.
during this. We do the primetime ones,
Sure,
but that's
sure.
just one I randomly put together because someone asked.
Okay, that's fine.
I
Guys,
bet it
well,
too. So.
this is really the biggest thing. Lamar threw a 5-yard curl route to Des Bryant during warmups, so they're gonna go off today. I'm so
Breaking.
happy Pro Football Focus tweeted that. That was incredible. Wow. Oh wait, it was a 7 yard. It was 7 yards.
Hey, it's a
Amazing.
solid
Blake,
gain on
you
first
guys,
down.
He took it to the house too. It was a
That is
touchdown
true.
in warm-ups. That's a
Any
sign.
other last things here from you, Gigs? Any advice, DFS, betting, whatever it may be?
DFS, I like at quarterback Watson.
Oh,
At
you just
running
answered the
back.
question. She said Lamar or Watson.
Oh, you
Obviously,
want to
you
go
would you go
Watson?
Yep,
Watson's got a
Watson.
great
I
matchup
agree.
today. But running back, I like what you said. DJ Dallas at 5,100 on FanDuel is good. Chase Edmonds at 6,700 is probably my favorite. And then wide receiver, I like Julio Jones at 8,200. And I like Keenan Allen at 7,500. Diggs at 76. I think it's going to be a Tyler Lockett week. Tre'Davious White will be on Metcalf, so they're going to go Lockett. So I like Lockett at 7,400. Marvin Jones at 61. Cooks at 61, all good plays. Will Fuller 7,100 is also a good play.
Oh, they just someone tweeted this. It was just the. Do you guys remember that Peyton Manning commercial where he's like playing football with the kids? He's like drilling the kids out there.
Yeah.
It's a gif of him throwing the football and it hits the kid in the back of the head.
He
He
swears
falls
at
over.
one of them. I
Oh,
forget
it's
what he
just-
says.
Can I say something that I
He's-
just saw that I feel like is ridiculous? Right now
Mhm.
in FanDuel, for anytime touchdown for the Ravens, Des Bryant has the sixth best
Oh, it's-
odds on the team to score a touchdown.
It was SNL.
Sixth best.
Yeah, sixth best odds for the Ravens on anytime touchdown. Right in front of Willie Snead.
Yeah, it was
He's ahead of
SNL, Kyle.
Boykin. He's ahead of Boyle. He's ahead of Duvernay. He's right behind Gus Edwards.
How do you all feel? I think that's crazy. How do you feel about Chubb next week? You play Chubb, rest of the season he's going to be a stud, just as in the beginning of the season, no question. If you can trade for Chubb right now, well, I guess for 2 minutes from game time, so you can't. But heading into next week, if there's any Chubb owners out there a little bit iffy with Hunt, no, I think Chubb's the guy. Hunt will go back to his role where this is a team that wants to run the football like first, so I think Chubb's really good. I was gonna say real quick too. Did you see Peyton Manning's thing on Detail too about Tom Brady? That was hilarious. Did you guys see that? He was saying how it was against the Giants last, where the announcers were making a big deal out of his throw to Gronk, and he was like, he wasn't even throwing to Gronk. But he saw somebody else over there was trying to throw it out of bounds. It's hilarious though. He's fucking funny. Like he doesn't even have to try to be funny, and he's funny. So, any last things from you guys?
Fuck yo couch.
Apparently, Alex Trebek died.
Oh, nuh-uh.
That's what
Are
I
you
just saw,
serious?
yeah. Yeah.
Dude. He was
Wow,
dealing
that's
with, I think
sad.
it was colon cancer or something like
Can't.
that.
Yeah.
Pancreatic.
Um.
Wow.
Real quick, Derek
R.I.P.
wants
to
to
the
know the parlay
legend.
for the people again.
Gosh. It was the under in the it was with the Texans game. The under in the game, Will Fuller to score in the game. It just hit 1:00, so hopefully you can still get it. Will Fuller to score anytime. It was Will Fuller over 64.5 receiving yards and James Robinson to go under 70.5 rushing yards. The odds are plus 13.
And
So
that about does it.
Can we wrap it up
You
with
know,
a tribute
RIP.
to?
If that's
Yeah.
yeah.
What a legend. That guy's been part of our
I've seen it
childhood.
on Twitter.
Wow.
Age of 80. That is sad. Well, RIP
2020.
Alex Trebek.
Fuck you, 2020.
This was for
That's
you.
all I
Trebek.
gotta
And you
say.
Today's
have-
episode was for you.
Well, you have Alex Trebek, and then we had Sean Connery. You know, and obviously Sean Connery wasn't actually on SNL, but you had the guy,
Oh,
forget
yeah,
what
I
his name
played
is,
him.
impersonating Sean Connery. So
Your mother, Trebek.
yeah, so but I mean, you know,
shit.
RIP to
Can I-
honestly a legend. So
The
well, thank you.
let it snow. Can I get lay tits now for 500, please? And the 50th anniversary one, that was fucking hilarious. But yeah, wrap it up.
All right, so thank you everyone for watching. Honestly, we do appreciate everyone being here. Like honestly, it means a lot. If you haven't, please like, subscribe. We go live. We'll be live tonight. If we made some bad calls and you want to call us out, hey, feel free. Or if we made some good calls and you want to give love, you know, we'll be here. So we'll be live tonight. That being said, thank you so much for watching, and good luck today, everyone. Good
Good luck,
luck and have a
guys.
great day. See ya.